Gentlemen, after the vicious fan backlash last week, Marvel finally did it.
I'm a little worried to ask what you're talking about.
Don't worry, Sam. Just Dad's getting a head start on the bad news segment.
Maybe
That's all it is.
Maybe a little bit.
Oh, you're talking about the new trailer record we talked about last week?
Yeah, the record is now set, which means a Thor Love and Thunder trailer has finally been released.
Just out of the blue. But
Yeah, that was
it
really
fun.
random.
Yeah, well, I think Grace Randolph predicted it. But anyway, we'll talk about that, Moon Knight, and a preview of Star Wars Celebration. This is Tatooine Sons.
It's true. All of it.
What is the name of the porg on the Millennium Falcon?
Force is strong in my family.
What do you think his name is? It's a big moment.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Maybe Turbis?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Turbis? Pablo, if you're listening to this live stream, that porg's name is now Turbis. It's a good Star Wars name.
We're not done yet.
These guys recorded an awesome podcast called Tatooine Sons. Everybody listen to that.
So that's going to be the talk of everything.
Yeah, I finally got to watch the trailer just today when I watched the Love and Thunder trailer as well.
So you watched Stranger Things.
season
A really quick
4.
reaction, BB Nate.
I really liked it. I think it looks really good.
I think it looks freaking awesome. I love
I'm
it.
so pumped.
All I can think of is I got to go back and watch season 3 because I
That
don't,
is true.
I don't
Very
remember
true.
anything about it. But welcome to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast, the only fan podcast to name a canon Star Wars creature and to be endorsed by the writer-director of The Last Jedi and maybe a guest at Star Wars Celebration. You never know. Ryan Johnson. We believe that pop culture is the mythology of our generation, that there is a story that is written on our souls and that these myths speak to that story. And that is why we're talking about the weird and strangely fascinating teaser to Thor Love and Thunder, the gods and their avatars in Moon Knight, and sharing some of our favorite moments from previous Star Wars celebrations while looking ahead at what has been announced for Anaheim. I am David. I am the dad.
Hi, Dad.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm honored to be joined every week by my two amazing sons, Thor, not your name is not
I'm
Thor.
now 4 now. All right. I would be Loki
It's a
technically
strong
if we're doing going
Lucas
by.
Pinkard would be
You're not
would be
adopted.
excited. He likes Thor, so
Oh, cool.
I got to find out what he thinks about this trailer. What are you talking about?
Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
It looks about how I expected. Silly and just a ton of fun.
That's
Definitely.
pretty much most of
Exactly
Taika's
what I was
films.
saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sam, what are you talking about?
Yeah, to say this last episode of Moon Knight was wild would be a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, it was definitely bizarre.
What about you, Dad?
With just over a month before Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, we're going to look back. I think I mentioned it in the teaser, but back on our favorite moments from past celebrations that we've been a part of, and maybe even speculate irresponsibly about some things that could come at the end of May. But if it's your first time listening to the show, welcome. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for listening to Tatooine Sons. Please follow the show on the podcast app of your choice. If you are a returning Tatooine Sons fan,
Wow.
We have those?
I don't know, maybe 3.
Probably not.
Mom? No, she doesn't even listen.
I don't think she's ever
Grammy listens and doesn't understand anything that we're
Thanks,
talking
Grammy.
about because she's too busy watching wrestling.
Oh, you're right.
That she doesn't. Anyway, thank you for coming back and checking out the show. And thank you to our sponsors, the Heroes Journal, for sponsoring this episode of the show. We are so excited about everything that you guys are doing over there. You guys want to subscribe because on Friday, we have Adam Glenn and Dax Holt from Hollywood Raw podcast. I had to give them some parameters before we recorded because they like to use words that we don't use on our show. And I'm
Gotcha.
like, that's probably not going to work on this, but they were cool about it. They have both worked for TMZ. They've interviewed Oprah Winfrey, The Rock.
Like the Michael
they
Bay
just
movie?
were. No,
I don't think you can interview in a movie, Nate.
But I mean, like, just Shaquille O'Neal.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
Chris Kattan was on their podcast last week, and they were just like throwing stuff like that out. It was like,
That's crazy.
And now I'm interviewing you guys. Okay,
Right.
It was fun. But one of them completely. You okay over there, Sam?
He's a little.
I'm just a little choked up.
Okay, yeah. One of them completely stepped in their, like, lost their pop culture cred.
What did they do?
They asked if Batman and Robin,
better not.
the movie, the Batman and Robin movie, was a DC movie or a Marvel movie. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about that. You can check that episode out on Friday, but enough talking about what we're going to talk about. Let's talk about what we're talking about.
Exactly. After being absolutely infuriated from not having a trailer, or I was supposed to be, Thor: Love and Thunder finally gave us something, and it feels exactly like a Taika Waititi movie.
Maybe a Star Wars movie?
Maybe.
No.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, I can fly.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
The people in this room, which one is A, wearing a spangly outfit, and B, not of use?
There's only one God, man, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Batman has no limits.
So many positive things about the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot now, and yeah, I'm super excited. Whenever we get to ride it, I'm sure it will be great. But
yeah, it was a lot easier to do these things when we lived 20 minutes away.
This is true.
Right.
So.
I think we're going to wait until
Tron
that
opens.
and Tron opens so we can do all the 3 new rides in one trip.
Like, we don't have to wait for all the other rides. We could just wait for those and then do the other rides that we want to.
It's a lot
that'll
cheaper.
Be fun. That'll be a blast.
All right, trailer rating on 1 to 10 exercise montages, because everybody's convinced we'll get one, and I'm super excited about it.
I'm going to go first, because if you're going to throw in Fat Thor,
Yes.
Bro Thor,
Yeah.
and working
And
out,
was he like wearing a Pizza Hut hat?
He was wearing it was like the strongest Avenger, the classic Avengers logo. And it said
I'm going to give it a size 48. Extra. Oh, I mean, it's one to. No, honestly, probably, I don't know, like a 8. I thought it was good. I don't understand the movie, but it's a teaser, so I'm not supposed to.
Sam?
So
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.5. It set a good tone. It's going to be a lot of fun. Give us an idea of what we're getting into, and we got. What are we calling Jane's Thor? Do we have a name for that character?
the Mighty Thor.
The Mighty Thor.
Yeah,
we
that's
got
really what
that.
it is.
So that was pretty cool
She looks
too.
really awesome.
Yeah. So I give it an 8.5.
I'm going to give it a 9 just on the basis that we get more interaction between Thor and Star-Lord. And that was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the little speech that Star-Lord gave at the end. And that just felt awesome. It's going to be hilarious. But let's talk about the first 3 big things from this trailer. Thor No More. That was a reference to the Spider-Man No More comic.
I don't know that comic.
You don't know? That's like one of the most popular covers of Spider-Man.
Was that where he like has the suit in the trash can?
Spider-Man No
Oh,
More.
yeah, that one. I do know.
I didn't realize that was what it's called. That was good. I like it.
Good job, baby.
Good job, Nate.
So Thor has decided to try peace instead of war. He is also giving up being a superhero. Now, what is going on here, guys?
Well, he kind of lost his mojo after Infinity War
breakdown, talking about Jane,
right, and Endgame and all of that, and so I think he's decided he needs to just kind of move on from that life. We have to keep in mind this dude's thousands of years old at this point, and everything that has happened in Avengers has just been like a really bad summer break for him at this point in his timeline. He probably needs a second to cool off and chill.
Yeah, he's got to have some me time.
Right. Yeah. He's going to do a little bit of a soul searching thing, I think. I mean, he let himself go pretty bad there too. Yeah. With Korg, of course. Yeah.
Dad, what do you think is going on?
I think that he's, I don't think that he's lost his mojo in the fact that he doesn't think that he can't fight. I think he's just done fighting.
Yeah.
I think he's tired of fighting.
That's been his whole life.
Yeah. All he's done has been a warrior. And he's lost everything. He's lost all of his family. He's lost Loki.
He's lost Jane.
He's lost Jane until the end, which is really cool with it. And I think he's just kind of trying to figure out, he just doesn't want to do it anymore. He doesn't want to fight anymore. Yeah. Literally, he's lost his fight. So
yeah, it's great. Next one, the Guardians of the Galaxy apparently have a big role in this movie. Star-Lord is as annoyed with Thor as ever in this trailer, but he gives some nice advice to him at the end of it. How do you think the Guardians of the Galaxy will play into this movie?
It's tough to say because this isn't a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so you have to be careful how much you bring them in. You don't want them to overshadow the movie.
Like Wanda and Doctor Strange too.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the same concern there. I think they'll be there. They'll be a bit of a driving force. I think we'll see them in like the beginning of the movie because that's where Thor is. And then I think he's going to decide to kind of go off on his own and go on like a soul searching experience. And then the Guardians will go off and do their own thing. We'll probably get some line indicating what's next in their story and where they're all going off.
The holiday special is what's going to happen after that.
So I think that's the role they're going to play. They're going to kind of send him off in a way.
I think that we're not going to have as much of them in this as the trailer suggests. I think you have about as much of the Guardians of the Galaxy in this as we did Doctor Strange in No Way Home. Doctor Strange was really heavily featured throughout the trailers.
Yeah, but
he was really very little in that movie. He was in there just a few scenes at the beginning and then
a couple scenes
shows up at the end. And so I think that's the way it's going to be in this. I think that they're going to have some fun Star-Lord moments. I mean, that's the way that Endgame ends, with him going off with them. I think you're going to have some of those fun moments. And then what we see in the trailer is they go to fight a battle and Thor's like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. And he just walks away. And I think that's where Star-Lord and even the rest of the crew is going to be, the Guardians, they're going to be like, enough with this guy, let him go do his thing. And they're going to have to go off and because that's how they survive. They make their living off of being basically mercenaries at this. And if Thor doesn't want to do that, he's just a liability. So they need to let him go do his thing. I don't know if we see them come back later in this. I think that's what separates the two storylines. And then, I know you guys brought up the holiday special, but I think that this more accurately leads into Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
That's what I think.
And so that's where they part ways on that. So,
okay. Yeah. This next one, of course, Jane Foster. We get our first look at Jane Foster's Thor, the mighty Thor, with the reforged hammer from Ragnarok. Okay, what do you think is happening here with Jane?
I got an idea, but I'm going to let Sam go first.
It's weird. I know next to nothing about this character in the comics, so I can't provide any sort of idea as to how this happened. I mean, she's been absent for a long time now in the MCU. So I don't know why she suddenly becomes worthy, or is the worthy thing gone? Are the things been reforged? Also, how did it get reforged? I mean, there's so many questions that I don't have a single answer to.
I want you to, do you have any speculation?
No, I want to hear your stuff.
Okay, so I'm not stepping on any of your speculation.
Go ahead.
I think that she's a variant. I think this is multiverse level stuff that's going on here. I think that from the moment that everything happened at the end of No Way Home, we also don't know how the end of Loki is going to tie into this.
Yeah, it's going to have to tie
into it somehow. It's Loki. You can't get more connected to Thor's story than Loki. Yeah. So all of those things have to do with fractured multiverses. And I think that she is a variant that's come through some kind of a crack in the multiverse. And I think that she's probably not even going to know who Thor is.
I think so.
And I think it's going to be a sort of a Gamora, Star-Lord type thing. Yeah. And I think that she's the warrior that's going to come to save the day. And this is probably, you got a couple of different ways this could end. One could be this kind of brings Thor back into being a warrior again, or he doesn't need to be a warrior again. His storyline and Chris Hemsworth's storyline ends, and now Jane Foster's version of Thor is the Thor going forward.
I mean, besides Hulk and Hawkeye, well, even Hawkeye is kind of gone. He's really the only other remaining Avenger, like original Avenger.
OG.
And if you think about the storyline in the Hawkeye series, he's basically trying to retire and hand over the bow to Kate Bishop. So.
Right, and then you got the She-Hulk series coming up soon too.
Yeah. So Yeah,
No,
that's what I think.
Now this trailer is missing a little something. The plot. We still have no idea
teaser.
What this movie is about, or even the bad guy. We didn't see Gore the God Killer all in this, or even a mention of him. Does this worry y'all at all, or was it just a little something to get?
Isn't that Christian Bale's character?
Yes, and it's
really cool.
the God Butcher, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying,
not the God Killer. It's the God Butcher.
Sorry,
I think you're right. Yeah, so it's okay.
Anyway,
no, I didn't even think about it watching the trailer. I'm just going to be honest.
I just want to see Christian Bale in the MCU. That's all I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So
now, of course, you know how this works. Just give me your crazy
after one teaser, we're already going to speculate.
Supposed to go wrong. Yes, speculate it.
All right, I'm going to let Sam go first.
Oh shoot, I haven't thought of anything.
We just based it off of this trailer. Just a crazy speculation.
Well, you got Jane back. Why not Loki shows up too?
Okay.
I mean, I think both of those things combined would kind of just be like, Thor would be like, all right, I've had enough. I'm really retiring now. And he goes off. He flies to some abandoned planet and just lives a solitary life. Kind of like, what if he takes a book out of Thanos' page? You know, he sees the way Thanos lived.
It's the other way around. Page out of his book.
Oh yeah,
a book out of his page.
Whatever. And did what Thanos did after seeing all that crazy stuff. Both people he loved just suddenly show up again.
Yeah, I think that if we see Loki, we probably get Loki in an after credits or somewhere in the credit scenes.
Try asking Thor
tying into the Loki series. Maybe that's where you can bring in this version of Thor again in some different things through the Loki series. But I think Chris Hemsworth's time is basically done as Thor after this movie. And as far as other crazy speculation,
was that Zeus in there too?
It was.
Yeah.
And that's played by who's that played by?
I have no idea.
I thought it was Russell Crowe.
It might be.
And that could bring in another
Russell Crowe, yeah.
That could bring in another Marvel character of Hercules.
It could.
Yeah. That's another
Just taking a page out of DC's book. See, I did it right this time.
You did it right.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, of course. Also, we just have to mention the classic outfit at the beginning for Thor when he's running, and the younger Thor, with the classic
like
comic book
character.
Yellow boots, the wings, everything. It was awesome.
Sam's not a comic book guy.
I didn't see it.
I wasn't allowed to read Flash when I was a kid.
I'm not surprised at all.
He's a god.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I wasn't allowed to. But anyway,
any dislikes from this trailer? Anything that kind of was just like, oh, I'm not super excited about that.
Yeah, it was so late. It broke a record.
Oh my gosh.
Horrible. I mean, my life is over because I didn't get this trailer until... not at all. I think it was a great trailer. I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, no, I can't really think of anything I disliked from the trailer.
Yeah,
I really did like the idea that they didn't just all of a sudden Thor was thin again.
Yeah.
That they're
going to do
an exercise montage, like a Rocky kind of thing. Which
I hope they make it as 80s montage as possible.
They already did an 80s song in the trailer, which is great. Yes. So, I mean, after being super cautious about Ragnarok after the trailer, I think I can get more excited about this one. And I am always up for some more Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, sir. Very nice. Very nice. Good job, BB Nate.
Thank you. Appreciate
Sam?
Yeah, no, it was all right.
It was all right. Yeah.
7 out of 10.
He's still struggling because he knows that you're my favorite, BB Nate. All right. Inside the Magic dominates bad news this week with some clickbait headlines that are sure to make you scratch your head. And that is next.
This is not going to go the way you think.
You know, the one thing about the Hero's Journal, gentlemen, that is so powerful is it uses things that work regardless of whether or not you have the journal. I mean, the journal is a tool that helps you with these things.
Oh, absolutely.
But the reason this tool works is it helps you focus and do things in a way that have been proven over, thousands of years to be effective tools. BB Nate, we were talking right before we were recording tonight about how you're using trying to use the journal pretty regularly on it. And of course, we talked about you're not really doing a quest and you're not even using the journal, specifically as it lays out. But why do you feel like it's helpful for you to take time every day to write out some thoughts and just kind of get these things out of your head and onto paper? And how does that help you?
It's just useful to like thoughts that don't make sense, that do take over your mind, to write them down and look at them and be like, this just absolutely doesn't make any sense. So seeing that on paper, it helps with you being able to kind of control it and be able to I guess, use it better and understand
it makes it tangible
more. And tangible and everything. So
taking the thoughts that maybe are not that are not accurate, the self-talk and the things about ourselves and questions and doubts and anxieties and frustrations and worries and all those things that we tend to just like chew over in our heads over and over again. You use the journal to get those out of your head onto paper. And then when you read them, they sort of feel like they lose their power.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. Sam, you're using it for productivity. How does writing things down with help you be more productive?
It's more, I don't necessarily make a checklist for things. It's more helping me get in the right mindset for the day. I've got to, if I get in my head, it makes things a lot more difficult for me. So being able to assess, okay, what's going to make things difficult for me today, and writing that down and then writing down solutions for that helps me. It helps me become productive, but it also removes any excuses I can make. I was like, I just don't know how to fix that. No, you wrote down a solution. Yeah. Follow the solution. So things like that kind of help me get in the right mindset for productivity.
Yeah. So there's power in the words that we speak to ourselves. There's powers in the words that we say to ourselves and we say to others, but there's also power in writing down these words. Yeah. And they either they add power to the good things that we're wanting to accomplish, or in your case, they take the power out of the words, and the frustration. I love that. It's, this is why tools like the Hero's Journal are so effective and helpful, guys. It's easier to slay these dragons too when you're not on your own, when you're in a fellowship with others that are trying to do this. And we want to invite you to join our fellowship. You can go to theheroesjournal.co/pages/Tatooine Sons. Join us on our quest. By doing that, you're going to download your free copy of the first act and use this as a tool, use this as a way to help you get your thoughts out of your head and organize them, and add weight to the things that you need to add weight to, and remove power from the things that you don't. We can't wait to have you join our little fellowship.
Well, you want the bad news or the really bad news?
Fans cancel racist Star Wars character and are happy Anakin Skywalker killed Tuskens.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. So, first of all, there's no racist character being canceled by any fans. It's just an article from Inside the Magic recapping a toxic take from a YouTuber that gets way too much credibility.
Mike Zero?
No, Star Wars Theory posted a video last week with a tongue-in-cheek opinion on Padme Amidala's reaction to Anakin's slaughter of the Tuskens in Attack of the Clones. The take is stirred up even further because of Padme's horrified reaction to Anakin's turn to the dark side, which resulted in his killing of the younglings in the Jedi Temple. So Star Wars Theory concludes that the only reason she consoles Anakin after he kills the Tuskens and pushes him away after he kills the younglings is because she's racist.
Well, he was kind of kidding, right?
He was, but that's not the way the headline reads.
Okay, I was just making sure.
100% clickbait.
Yeah, everything about this article and really the video itself, the way that he titled it, is just about generating clicks. And so that is classic clickbait. So I'm giving that a clickbait level of 10.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oscar Isaac won't be a Marvel superhero anymore. Now we're going to talk about the plot points, this headline, about this headline later. But this headline from Inside the Magic teases that essentially because Khonshu sacrificed himself to help Mark, and Layla stop Arthur Harrow from finding Amit, it means that Mark will no longer have the powers of Moon Knight. Unfortunately, this headline seems to be teasing something much more spectacular than the story in the series is suggesting. So don't worry, Oscar Isaac isn't leaving the MCU.
Yeah.
This one gets a clickbait level of 9.
He still has 3 episodes left in an MCU series, so he's not leaving the MCU before the show is over. That's crazy. But this next one.
You already talked about Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes, I did. Chris Hemsworth may replace Chris Pratt in Thor: Love and Thunder.
And then Chris Evans is going to replace them all.
Yes.
Whoa.
Then Chris Pine's going to come in and play a new character.
Whoa. I'm confused. Okay, anyway.
The final headline from Inside the Magic is just bizarre. It's clearly designed to create confusion about Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt's roles in Thor: Love and Thunder, but it has nothing to do with the actors, if you wouldn't be surprised. It's about the name of a toy from the film that lists Thor as a Ravager, implying that he becomes part of the pirate gang featured in the Guardians of the Galaxy films. Simply thinking through the headline would cause most to rethink what is being suggested, but Inside the Magic is hoping for the click and nothing more.
That's true.
It's a clickbait level of 9.
That was bad news from Inside the Magic. A lot
surprised
of it. Good job. All right, guys. I think we have to keep moving.
Yeah.
Go,
Sam. That's you.
And just as we get to see Moon Knight in action, he seems to be gone just as quickly. So how does the lunar hero come back? Also, why are gods on everybody's minds lately? We'll talk about those questions and more from the latest episode of Moon Knight next.
Be on your guard. There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
You're coming to us. Yes, as the footsteps of steps.
There are many magic rings in this world, Bilbo Baggins, and none of them should be used lightly.
Things just like happening in the sky lately in the MCU. I mean, you had like the Celestial in Eternals and this thing in this episode. I think there was one more. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Like the stars in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, like
such a cool effect. I love
why is nobody talking about this? Like, we haven't heard any. Like, I just want like a news clipping in the background, like a news clip saying what the heck was that in the sky? Like, nobody's addressing this.
I want an MCU comedy series of a normal person just dealing with all the events in the MCU. Just like
that's actually a golden idea.
It is, and then that would be fantastic. And just like them being like, stars in the sky are moving. It's just a normal Tuesday.
Right. Of course they are.
Of course they are.
Right. Your neighbor becomes a superhero. It's like, who isn't at this point? But,
right.
Anyway, all right, let's get y'all's rating of this episode on a scale of 1 to 10 outdated star maps.
Okay, well, some people said this episode was really slow, but it moved the plot forward a lot, like an insane amount. I really like this episode.
Say light years ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it like an 8.5, somewhere around there.
That was a pretty good one.
Somewhere around there.
8.5?
8 or an 8.5, yeah. Okay. I just really enjojed it. I thought it was really good.
I'll give it a 7.5. It was good. It was a good episode.
Right, IGN.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
No, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I loved the mythology in this one. I know we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that on this.
I gave you that one.
I know you did. And that stuff is so much fun. I enjoyed this episode. I enjoy the way that this series is going. I think that the next episode is, because we're halfway through now, right?
Yep, that was the midpoint.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that it's going to start ramping up in a significant way. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. It was a lot of fun. It was great. Nothing like over the top in either direction. I thought it was just a pretty decent episode. But anyway, let's get to the first little point. We notice this is really more just the case through the first bit of the episode. But Mark and Steven, it takes place from Mark's eyes, but he's blacking out like what Steven did in the first episode.
Yeah.
And he keeps finding people,
which I loved, by the way. I loved that they flipped the script on that, and now we see the same things happening through Mark's eyes. That's the consistency is great, but it's also fun to see him and the way he's being thrown off by this the same way.
Yeah. So every time he comes to, he finds himself surrounded by like more and more dead people.
Yeah.
And so Mark and Steven throughout the episode are kind of pointing fingers at each other saying, hey, why'd you kill these people? Well, we know it's not Steven because the dude doesn't even eat steak. And we know it's not Mark because we watched the whole episode through Mark's eyes. So could this be the third personality, Jake Lockley, maybe?
I like if it is, I like how we're completely oblivious to it as they are. Because in the first episode, we knew that there was another personality. We knew that there was something there, and we knew it was Mark. We all expected this, but now we're learning that there was another personality, and now we're thinking, oh, wait, has this other personality shown up in the other episodes before too? Like in the first episode, even as Steven was blacking out. So I really like it. I think that there's definitely another personality. If it's Jake Lockley, I'm not quite sure. We have no really facts about that, but I'm sure it would be if they're trying to go with comic accuracy.
So Jake is the cabbie?
He was the cabbie in the comics.
In the comics, okay. There's someone that I saw on Twitter last week that was like doing this massive Twitter thread breakdown of the scene in the very first episode in the bathroom when Steven is like with Mark and there's all these weird things, and there's this scene where you can see like it's flipping to a different side mirror, the mirror on the other side.
Okay.
And they're convinced that that's the third personality, that it is Mark.
Okay.
And then you see it, it's a different mannerisms, different face. And you don't hear any words coming out of it, but it's like, it's almost like from, if I remember the thread correctly, like Mark is in one mirror looking across at the other mirror and seeing the other personality and not sure what's going on with it. And so if they're bringing in that third personality like that, I don't care if it's Jake, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You know, if this is the case, what implications could that have? Could this personality have been acting like you kind of mentioned, but been acting throughout Mark's whole life? Maybe he was the one responsible for those killings, maybe in the first episode, or those executions that were talked about, I think, in that second episode. You know, what do you think that this could imply?
I think that it means that there's a whole nother story that we have to learn here pretty soon, towards the end of the episode. I think that the thing that confuses me is Jake, from what we know in this episode, he's the heavy hitter. He has absolutely no cares about killing. So why wouldn't Khonshu want Jake to retrieve him from the council, and yet he said he wanted Mark to retrieve him? That's a little strange. You would want the person that would actually do any means necessary to get Khonshu back, but he asked for Mark. So that's a little confusing.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But I think that we will see a lot more with Jake learning who he is, what he is. I'm really interested in seeing how they develop this personality more, if it is Jake or anybody is.
Yeah, I think this other personality is more just a straight up psychopath, or something. You know, he isn't really it's not a personality. It's just he wants to kill, or, you know, that's like this dark side, this monster within Steven that he's kind of repressed for a while or something.
So
maybe this is why Khonshu wants to get rid of Mark, because maybe
Mark?
Khonshu, he wants to go to
he
Layla.
wants to go to Layla.
Okay.
And maybe he realized, because, you know, the reality is he's the one that brings justice, right? Vengeance or whatever is
the fist of vengeance. Even though that's Batman.
I'm confused now. Anyway, Khonshu is this, you know, God that wants to wreak out justice and vengeance. And if he sees what's going on, where there's this personality, be it Jake or some other character, other personality that is just bent on evil and death, then using Mark's body for that creates problems for Khonshu. So getting rid of Mark, getting into Layla, that he can actually come back at Mark or at this personality and judge him with it, which would be an interesting little twist.
Yeah. Now, one big point is that there's this council, right? You know, that's kind of towards the beginning of the middle of this episode, where all of these Egyptian gods are summoned together, whatever, through their avatars. Their avatars meet, and then their gods speak to one another through the avatars. Now, as soon as I saw this, if I will, council of the divine.
Yeah.
That I knew we both had to be thinking the same thing. So what did this remind you of? Go for it.
I mean, it's like straight biblical implications with this. Psalm 82, Yahweh takes his place in the divine council among the gods. He brings judgment. It was just like,
you here.
Oh, I'm like the nerd in me, the Bible nerd in me is just like freaking out.
The face on Dad right now is just full of excitement.
It's like
just,
a giddy
fanboy. It's just you're fangirling right now. It's great.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea because, most of the last few hundred years of Christianity has tried to avoid this conversation from Scripture, because it creates conflict and ideas that struggle. And I don't think we have to struggle with that. And so the idea of a story like this, bringing in a divine council where they're passing judgment. It is exactly what you hear about in Psalm 82 and in Psalm 89 and Job 1 and 2 and those types of things. It's this idea finding itself in fiction that is what we do, what we talk about on the show all the time, that these myths speak to a greater story that's in the scriptures. And so we get to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, building off of that, there seem to be lots of gods going around Marvel right now, with the Egyptian gods that we just talked about and Thor and Zeus in Love and Thunder. Do you think maybe like all this comes together later on? Like they have the Clash of the Titans, gods meeting up or something?
I don't know. I think that would be really cool to see. I really do think that. And with Hercules having a possibility of showing up too, that'd be really awesome. I'm excited to see what they do with this because the DC fan in me is excited because the gods and Egyptian gods, even with Dr. Fate and everything, are the biggest part of DC on that side. You have the old gods and the new gods with Darkseid and the High Father and all that stuff. And so it's really exciting to see Marvel bringing this in, and I'm super excited to see what they do with this later on in the storyline. They're trying to set up this grander scale for Marvel. It was really the first phase, the first, not phase, but the first saga, the Infinity Saga, was all very compressed to Earth. And now they're just full on going to other multiverses, to other planets for whole movies. Everything is just expanding now. So I'm super excited to see what they do with this whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with this, but I do think that the reason that these stories are part of this is because the idea of the supernatural can no longer be contained in Iron Man built a cool suit, and Hulk is got gamma radiation and those types of things. The story, if it's going to continue to be as epic as it's been and what they want it to be, you have to start bringing in gods and you have to start bringing in the supernatural in a bigger way. And that's what's going on in this right now.
Yeah. Why do you think gods are so prevalent in stories right now?
I think that we want to understand. It's hard for me to verbalize this sometimes. We want to understand why life is the way that it is. And so, we've spent all of recorded history looking into the heavens, looking into the stars at night, and saying this can't be all that there is to life. And so the solution is there's gods, there's these supernatural beings, there's all of these things going on. And that's the story that's written on our heart. And so we gravitate towards more than just Thor and Loki. It's not just the god of mischief and the god of thunder. This is why Eternals was so disappointing to me, because they had the opportunity to tell some of these stories. They had an opportunity in the Marvel, as we talked about then, in Marvel Comics. The Celestials and Eternals and all of those creatures were how they told the creation story, how humanity came into existence. And then they just totally botched that in the Eternals movie. And so I think that we're still trying to figure those things out in Marvel and the cinematic universe. But I think that that's where the story has to go. There has to be a reason for all of this to be happening.
Yeah. And another big thing that happened in this episode, I think we kind of talked about it in the bad news, but there's no more Moon Knight. Or at least
no more.
Good one. But at the end of the episode, Khonshu turns back the heavens. It's like thousands of years, so they can be able to read this map. And obviously, the gods were not a fan of that because he also made an eclipse earlier that day. So they imprison him in stone, which means Mark doesn't have the suit. He doesn't have these powers anymore. What does Mark do now? Does he go find the tomb of Amit and finish or complete the story, or does he go and save Khonshu so he's protected and able to better find the tomb and stuff?
I don't think he's worried about being protected. I think that he understands how absolutely devastating this can be if Amit is freed, and he's going after that. And that's where Mark Spector becomes a heroic character. At this point, he's had cool powers up to this point. He's got skills. Now he becomes somebody that can really make a huge difference, and he's doing it as Mark Spector. So I love that idea.
I think that we do see more Mark in this next episode, but then again, I do know that Mark will go save Khonshu because he was told to. Stephen was told to by Khonshu. So I think that might be what the next episode's about, saving Khonshu more than anything. Maybe using the goddess of love. I think that was one of on the council.
And she was the one that was like
she was helping him.
Right.
So I think that he'll use her to help him out. So I think that's what this next episode's going to be about more than anything. Maybe Arthur unleashes that chaos now that he knows everything about Amit now, and that's what the episode 5 and 6 is about, him putting it back with Khonshu, and I think that actually would be really cool.
Yeah. So you think we're going to see more Moon Knight though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have a show called Moon Knight.
There's already I think the mid-season promo has already come out, and we have more Moon Knight. So
okay,
yeah, absolutely.
And you kind of talked about what you think's happening in this next episode, but Dad, what do you think we see in this next episode?
I think we see a lot more confusion on Mark's part, and I think that it transitions to this third entity, this third identity with it. So episodes 1 and 2, it was confusion with Steven transitioning in the second episode to Mark taking over the body. Last episode, it was Mark's story transitioning in this next episode to this third entity taking over the body. And then in the last one, you've got this third entity taking over in the last 2 episodes, leading to the big finale with Moon Knight. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's good.
I think this is a good time for a dad moment.
I am your father.
It's kind of a weird idea to grab hold of, and I know we've already kind of I've already taken us down weird paths, but anyway, the human beings in this being filled with the spirits of the gods is actually an idea that goes all the way back to biblical times. I know we discussed it briefly in last week's episode, but this week it was front and center, and the concept isn't exactly the same in the Bible, but there are definitely some similarities. The major difference between the gods of the nation surrounding Israel in scripture and then Yahweh, the one true God, was that the pagan gods were displayed through idols of stone and gold and silver and wood, which we kind of see this happening to some extent with Khonshu being contained in that idol, while Yahweh's image is actually seen in the biblical story. Yahweh's image is seen in every human being alive, and this is a really powerful idea. The God of the Bible is too big to be defined by a single idol or a single image. He is displayed in every human who has ever lived, male, female, using the divisions in the Bible, Jew, Gentile, slave, free, all of them display God in their own unique way, or a different facet. It's like a diamond where the more you turn the diamond, the more angles you see and differences you see. And it's because God is infinite, and every human has a role in displaying him to the world. And when we understand this, we begin to understand that every human has tremendous value. And that's an important thing.
Good dad moment. I like it.
Thanks. I'm glad.
Well, we've passed the halfway mark for Moon Knight at this point, and it's quite the wild ride so far. Now, I'll say that for me, this show keeps me wanting more, and I can't wait to see what comes in tomorrow's episode.
Yeah. Good job.
Good job,
Shmuley.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. We're going to talk a little bit about some movies. Right?
Yeah.
Is that
that's the
what's next?
plan.
Yeah. There are 3 new movies releasing this coming weekend. One of them looks great for little kids. One of them you probably never even heard about. And then the last one is just really weird.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
Lots of new releases this weekend. The first one is The Bad Guys. After a long time, a lifetime of pulling legendary heists, 5 notorious bad guys, Mr. Wolf, Mr. Snake, Mr. Piranha, Mr. Shark, and Miss Tarantula attempt
That's very different.
Attempt their most challenging job yet, going good. The director is Pierre Perifel. The cast is Sam Rockwell, Mark Maron, and
you know who Sam Rockwell is, don't you?
Yeah, he was in
Hammer.
Yeah, Justin Hammer. Yes.
Yeah. The studio is Universal, and
Awkwafina is Marvel too.
Yes, she is.
Wow.
She is. It is rated PG
That's a
for
good movie.
action and rude humor. Going yes or no? No.
I mean, it looks like fun. It looks cute, but we're kind of getting to that point where
If you were like 7, we'd go.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you've got little kids, take them. It looks good.
The animation looks really cool.
And it honestly looks kind of funny.
It does, yes.
It's not
we'll probably just wait till
We've aged out of it. All right.
Yes, this next one, The Northman. An action-filled epic that follows a young Viking prince on his quest to avenge his father's murder.
That makes it sound so much more tame than what I saw in the trailer.
The director is Robert Eggers. The cast is Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, and Claes Bang. Yeah.
Bang.
The studio is Focus Features. It is rated R for strong bloody violence, some sexual content, and nudity. Going no. For sure no. It looks.
I've only seen the trailer to this one time, and we go to movies almost every weekend, which tells me they really are just like, release that thing. Okay, now it's over. Now we can move it on. We can move on.
Yeah. It looks weird.
It looks creepy.
No interest.
Really
whatsoever.
disturbing.
No.
And then this one is really weird.
Yeah. Even weirder than The Northman. The unbearable weight of massive talent.
It's a biopic about David Jesse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe
creatively unfulfilled and facing financial ruin, the fictionalized version of Nicolas Cage must accept a $1 million offer to attend the birthday of a super fan.
This cameo thing's getting out of hand.
I know.
Yeah.
When things take a wildly dangerous turn, Cage is forced to live up to his own legend, channeling his most iconic and beloved on-screen characters in order to save himself and his loved ones. With a career built for this very moment, the Academy Award-winning actor must take on the role of a lifetime himself.
He won an Academy Award for what?
Best actor.
In what?
I think it was Leaving Las Vegas, I think is what it was. Yeah.
I need to watch more Nick Cage movies because
Not
I've
that
literally only seen
National Treasure.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any other Nick Cage movie.
Oh,
You
man.
can watch Ghost Rider.
No,
the director
no.
is Tom Gormican. I guess that's a good way of saying it. The cast is Nicolas Cage.
Wait,
playing
Nick Cage is in this movie?
And Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian.
This is the way.
The studio is Lionsgate and is rated R for language throughout, some sexual references, drug use, and violence. Going yes or no?
Don't tell mom, but I think we're going Saturday night. She's out of town. So, no, I mean, obviously we choose our movies differently than
Yes.
like the R movie before The Northman, full of sexual content and nudity and stuff like that. Not going to happen. We've heard bad words before. We don't use bad words. We don't struggle with those. So we're probably not going to have a problem hearing Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal curse a blue streak. So we'll probably be fine. So we'll watch that movie.
Watching the trailers, we think this looks weird, but it looks like a lot of fun.
It looks like
And with the ratings right now, it's getting
almost 100
crazy.
from the
Almost
critics.
100.
That's incredible.
That's insane.
Yep.
Yes, for trailers this week, we have a couple. We have one really strange one and another one that I know Savannah will want to see. The first one, Crimes of the Future. I watched the trailer. I still don't know what it's even about. It was a teaser, but it looked like a film festival version of Minority Report. I don't know. Not even that. I don't know what it was. I'm so confused. I watched the trailer.
Aragorn.
Yeah, I watched the trailer and I was just like, my jaw was dropped because of how
I'm going to find
weird
who
it
their
was.
publicity is done for.
Okay.
And we are going to, this is my mission now. You know, those little, those blurbs when movies come out where they have the critics and the reviewers and stuff.
A film festival Minority Report.
Tatooine, Nathan Jesse, Tatooine Sons of Pop Culture podcast, a film festival version of Minority Report. This is my mission.
I don't even know if it's that though, because I just saw some guy in a tank and it's called Crimes of the Future. And I'm like, I guess that's what it's supposed to be.
I mean, if you think about it, I can see where you're going with
I want to watch this trailer
and
now.
then they had a weird guy with pig ears and getting his eyes and mouth sewn. And I was like, okay, no, I'm good. I stood there. I saw that as the thumbnail of one of the versions of the trailer.
Right.
And I sat there for a good 5 minutes wondering, do I really want to watch this trailer? I just decided to though. This next one.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry, Sammy. It's called Press Play.
That's okay. Savannah doesn't listen to the show anyway.
That's true.
And then I'll get a text from her.
Hey, I was going to say it right now. But it is a chick flick. Not a rom-com even. It is strict rom-dram. And it's these two lovers who make a mixtape of their favorite songs. And eventually the chick's listening to the mixtape and finds out that after her lover, I'm not sure if they're husband or wife, or I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from the trailer, but he died. And listening to each of the songs allows her to go back in time to the time they first heard the song. So her mission is to either spend that time with him as much as she can or try to save him from dying. I'm sorry,
Sam, you're going to have to watch that with your girlfriend.
But Danny Glover's in it, and he's a fun actor.
That's great.
So,
he was better in Lethal Weapon. All right.
He was probably better.
That was a great movie.
Lethal Weapon. I need to watch Lethal Weapon still. The box office results this weekend. Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore makes a lackluster 43 million domestic and a fine worldwide premiere for 193 million
but
worldwide.
It's the lowest box office take in the history of all the Harry Potter franchises.
Really?
Harry Potter, one of the biggest franchises, and it has a...
And they were debating whether or not to continue the franchise after this movie, and they were going to wait to make the decision until after the box office. I think that this series is done.
Yeah.
Why do you think it got such a low take?
Just people really didn't like it. I've heard so many.
Wow.
Thank you, BB Nate.
But I've heard so many reviews saying
You've got Nathan dropping some profound truth bombs sometimes. And you got that. It's okay.
It's just I've heard people say that it just doesn't feel like a Harry Potter movie. And of course we wouldn't know. But I feel like after the second Fantastic Beasts, I've heard it started to lose its luster.
Wait, how many Fantastic Beasts are there?
This is the third one.
Okay. I was like, how many?
But
all right, just get to box
Sonic
office.
the Hedgehog 2 with 30 million domestic. Wow.
That's incredible.
231 million worldwide.
It is.
How is it staying so strong? And The Lost City, which mom and dad absolutely adored, with 6.5 million domestic, 88 million worldwide.
That movie was dumb. There was no chemistry at all between Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, and the storyline was dumb. We were making fun. You know the old guys on the Muppets?
Okay.
We were literally doing that the whole movie.
Well,
and I'm sure we annoyed the people in the theater with
I'm glad I
us.
saw a better movie than that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Good job, Nate.
Thank you.
You did good.
Good job, BB Nate. I guess it's my turn, isn't it?
It is.
After a long delay due to the pandemic, it's almost impossible to believe this, but Star Wars Celebration Anaheim is just over 1 month away.
That's crazy.
Tatooine Sons was born from our experience at Celebration, so let's look back at our favorite moments from 2017. 2017, that was the first year we went.
That's when
2019, along with what we can expect in 2022 and maybe a surprise Celebration announcement.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
Everything on our walls came from Celebration.
Let's see.
Except for the comics.
Not everything, but like
a lot. Most of it.
So we have the comics, and then we have the lithographs I got with my Sith Trooper hat from Disney Shop.
But pretty much everything else on the walls is from Celebration.
Yeah.
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 And there's couple posters over here that we got because we waited 3-4 hours in line for guest services at the signings at Orlando.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
I absolutely love Celebration. All the memories were coming up on my Facebook feed Friday from both times we've been before, because they were the same weekend, and I'm just like watching them like dying inside because we weren't going to Celebration.
Interesting.
We'll talk a little bit about that. Why? Let's talk about this. Why? I'm gonna get some feedback from you guys. This is a very fluid conversation today, and I'll start with you. That's why you're the first on the list.
I know. Yeah, you're first on the list. Yeah.
Why is Star Wars Celebration a must for Star Wars fans? Sam, we'll start with you.
Okay. Star Wars fandom can often get a bad rap, especially
understandably,
if you spend any time online. It seems to be always negativity and toxicity and yelling at each other, and all around, why would you want to be in that sort of fandom at all?
Yeah, exactly.
Going to Celebration changes that mindset. You go and pretty much everybody there is cool and they love Star Wars, because who the heck's going to spend that much money to spend a weekend doing nothing but Star Wars unless you love Star Wars?
Exactly.
You may disagree with people, but the beauty about talking to someone face to face is you can't yell at them. It's a discussion. So being at Celebration really kind of helps you recenter yourself as a Star Wars fan and remember why you love this franchise so much.
What about you, BB Nate?
I think the why it's a must is it really allows you to be the first ones to experience the future of what's coming for Star Wars. And that is always such a fun feeling. And it's so much better when you're in a room with 10,000 fans all watching and reacting to the same stuff, and the place just erupts with cheers and lightsabers waving in the air and everything, and it is just crazy. And the electricity is that you can't replicate it in any other form, and it is just such an amazing feeling.
It's similar to why we say you need to watch big movies in theaters.
Exactly. That's why you need to watch movies in a full theater at a big screen, because you get that kind of, not to the extent, but you get that same feeling.
I think my thought process is kind of a combination of both of yours. So Sam, you're talking about sort of you get to experience a different experience with fans than what you get online. BB Nate, you're like, we get to be with all of these people and celebrating the things of the future of Star Wars. I remember when we were at Celebration Orlando 2017, and I had been really downplaying it the few days before, because I was really worried this wasn't going to be that big. We'd never been to anything like this before.
This was our first con.
Not even a tiny con.
No.
We'd never been to anything like this before. And we were literally walking to it. And I remember keep saying over and over again, guys, this is just, tap down your expectations. It'll be fun, but it was so much better than everything that you could have dreamed. And I remember one time kind of all standing there, and we were in line, because that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
Especially Celebration Orlando. Lines were a bigger issue there. We were standing there in line, and we were having these conversations with people, and they were playing games, and they were reading books, and we were talking about movies we loved. And it just sort of hit me that we found our people.
Yeah.
We found the people that we love to hang around. And of course, if you're listening to this show and you found us within the last, year or so, then we love Star Wars. But those of you that have been around since we've launched this podcast or the early days, that Star Wars is our thing.
Right.
The other things we love Marvel, we love DC. BB Nate is a massive Batman fan. I think we all can know that. But for us, this was our thing. And for us to be around people that we could relate to and that we loved, and we get to see these people. I mean, seeing people talking about going to Celebration on Twitter, and they were getting, plans together, and they were talking about meetups. It was just like, these are people like Ian Thompson and Pete Fletzer and JG Kars. And, I don't want to, it's hard because I don't want to leave people out, but there's just so many of you that Rick Villanueva, that we've been with at Celebration and seen, and we aren't going to be able to, we were looking at my Twitter feed, and I'm just like, we're going to miss this. And so, that was a hard day on Friday, watching all of those, but enough talking about
the guys from Star Wars Underworld too.
Yeah, I saw Benjamin Hart talking about it, and I'm like, oh man,
him and Dominic Pace.
Yeah, Tyler Bucks from Chatter Squad. You know, all these guys. So Friday was a hard day for me in a lot of ways when it comes to that. All right, let's move into something a little bit less melancholy here. Favorite Star Wars Celebration memories. Our memories from being at Celebration. We'll start with Orlando. BB Nate, what was your favorite memory from Orlando?
I don't know. There was just so much there that was so awesome, but I don't know. Honestly, me being such a huge Rebels guy, it had to be the Rebels panel. And seeing the first episode of season 4, the final season, it was I look back on it now and I'm heartbroken that the series is over. But I remember the excitement of seeing that and the excitement of just learning about it and being like, what has gotten me into Star Wars, I'm able to see now. I'm able to be with the people that respect and love this show as much as I do. And it was really an awesome experience to have that happen. And I'll never forget seeing that first episode.
Yeah. I kind of have 2 from Orlando.
Favorite moment.
No, it said favorite memories.
Okay.
All right. So leave me alone. I'll briefly summarize this because I've said this on the podcast multiple times, but the Star Wars Underworld Dominic Pace, looking back now, is a very fun memory. If you don't know, basically Dominic Pace stood me up for
not Dominic Pace,
excuse me, Dominic Jones.
Dominic Pace is Gecko.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
He's going to be at Celebration Anaheim too.
Really?
In Gecko costume.
Oh, nice. Cool. That's cool. We got to get a picture
from somebody,
right?
Yeah.
But Dominic Jones said I could be on his podcast, Star Wars Underworld. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, which it is pretty cool. Didn't get to be on it. We were very upset. Learned later, a couple years later, year later, something like that.
Half later.
That he just forgot because he was super busy.
Which you now relate to. Because he was doing college finals.
My word. Yes, I relate. So it's all fun now. Yeah. We make fun of him all the time.
Okay, so
that was memory.
What's the other memory?
Nate and I walking around in our giant inflatable BB-8 and Jabba the Hutt costumes. I still have
that costume.
Oh, we're bringing them.
Wow. To where?
I don't know.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit. All right.
But, people just reacting to us and just loving. I mean, how do you miss a giant BB-8 and Jabba the Hutt just walking around the convention center? I mean,
I think I know what Dad's memory is going to be, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Go ahead.
I got a couple of them.
You got a couple. Okay, go ahead.
Walking through the show floor and getting a picture with you guys and Dave Filoni was
such a cool memory. I will never forget. That's so surreal.
I mean, for us, for you guys, that's almost a George Lucas moment.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got into Star Wars with George Lucas's original trilogy. We got into it with Dave Filoni's Star Wars Rebels. That's insane to think about. And we got him without his hat. And that's a rare picture.
I know. So it's like one of 3 pictures I've ever seen. No, I'm kidding. So that was a highlight. The 40 years of 3PO panel.
Yep.
When you guys got called up on stage and then they called me up on stage to sit with you guys and there's Anthony Daniels, there's freaking C-3PO and Wicket.
He steps on my tail.
David. That's right. Talking to you guys, and I'm sitting there on stage, just like I can't. I have no words. It was pretty awesome.
I can't tell you the nerves. I walked out of that panel and I stopped clenching my teeth, and my teeth hurt because it was for the whole panel. I was so hot, even though I was in like an AC costume. I was burning up. I was just so nervous being on that stage, but it was so cool.
It was awesome. All right, let's switch over to Chicago, 2019. Very different experience.
Very.
We had launched the podcast. There were people there we knew. We knew more what to expect.
We had plenty of deep dish pizza.
We had lots of deep dish pizza in Chicago that year. Sam, what was your favorite memory or memories from Chicago?
Chicago.
For this one, I really enjoyed the panels a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think we got into bigger panels this time, or like the main showing.
Main stage.
Yeah, we were really fortunate in the lottery.
Yeah,
we got pretty much every panel we wanted.
Yeah. But one of my favorite memories was the. Was it 20 years of Phantom Menace? See, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I knew this panel was happening before, and for like a few months beforehand, I was listening to the Weird Al Yankovic's The Saga Begins
I knew
all
this was gonna
the
be your
time.
moment. Yes.
Really hoping that it would happen at Celebration. I was hoping Weird Al would be there.
I was too.
He wasn't. But right before the panel started, the DJ started playing it. He was like, y'all know what time it is, He started playing it, and you had, how many people were in that
about 4,000
Star Wars fans all singing it to the top of their lungs with their lightsabers in the air and stuff. And it was just a really cool fan
they
moment.
turned off all the lights in the stadium and just had the lightsabers lighting it up, and it was just such an awesome experience.
I've got that video still on my phone from 3 years ago.
That was a really neat moment.
I'm gonna have to share that on Twitter.
Definitely
coming up soon. Favorite memory, man, there's a lot, but for me, it was just the people.
Yeah, for sure.
We had been building up this podcast, building these relationships. People were listening to our show, and you get that meetup that we did at the Deep Dish Pizza place, and JG and Rick and LJ Souter was there, and Arnold Fitt was there. That had stumbled upon JJ Abrams and the crew in Jordan and got pictures with them, and we had interviewed him. And
did you mention Rick and his son?
Yeah, and I mentioned Rick, but Isaac, his son, were there. Neil Lowry was there for it, and we're just all kind of hanging out, and it was like it really is. It's those relationships that have really made this podcast is just a massive time drain and money drain if it's not for the people that listen to this show. The relationship that we have built through this is obviously the most important thing from it, but then the relationship with listeners with it, and to be able to interact with those people, and for people like when we were standing there talking to Matt Martin, and this lady sees the Make Turbis Cannon stickers on our poster tube, and she's like, oh my gosh, where did you get that sticker? And so I start handing, she's like, do you know what that Make Turbis Cannon thing is all? And she starts telling us the Make Turbis Cannon thing,
right?
And Matt Martin,
who we're just having a conversation,
which think about how crazy that is. We're like standing there just having
casual conversation
with Matt Martin, and he's like looks at her, and he goes, that these are the Turbis people, right? And she's like, you guys are Tatooine Sons, and it was just like this. It's just surreal, and so it's been awesome doing this, and Celebration is sort of a culmination of it in a lot of ways. All right, let's talk about Anaheim coming up.
Yes,
just over a month away, and what we can expect from it. First of all, they've announced 3 major panels for it, and the days for those panels. These are, I'm assuming, going to be the big morning lottery panels, the lottery panels for that. So the first one that they announced was the Lucasfilm panel, and the description is Star Wars Celebration opens with a must-see showcase that will kick the the weekend's festivities into hyperdrive. Thursday, May 26th, Lucasfilm's current crop of live-action filmmakers will be joined by special guests to discuss the many Star Wars adventures coming soon, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, and The Mandalorian. Gentlemen, thoughts on this panel?
I'm excited, and the fact that this is the 26th just kind of confirms the rumors that they will be dropping the first 2 episodes at Star Wars Celebration on the 26th, the day before it releases to the general public on the 27th, having a screening of both.
You feel like it confirms it. It doesn't confirm it.
It doesn't confirm it.
This is Mike Zero confirmed.
I know.
This is Grace Randolph
This is Grace Randolph confirmed.
Okay.
But this is just kind of playing into that more. I think that it's practically a done deal by now, but I'm super excited to see it. And it's live action, so you better give me some Ahsoka or I'm going to flip.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely that you gotta see it panel, because that's where you're probably gonna get Ewan. You might get Hayden because of
Ian McDiarmid,
Diego
Luna, Pedro. I mean, the big
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, the big stars in Star Wars right now, because the Skywalker saga is over at this point. It's
Timur Morrison, you think? Timur Morrison?
Oh, I'm a certain.
Yeah, you get these currently big actors, which is, I mean, granted, they're, hundreds of feet away on a stage, but, the fact that you might be in the same room as these people is still just like,
and this is also where they drop trailers. This is where you get excuse me, pardon me. You get you get an Andor trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
You get season 3 Mandalorian trailer.
Yes.
You potentially get the Ahsoka trailer with that.
With the drop of Ezra.
They don't do that in that first episode, you think?
The first trailer?
Or first trailer.
No, I don't think so. No,
maybe
we'll see. So
anyway,
that'll be okay. So, the second panel they announced was called Mando Plus.
It's no longer Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's basically they don't. It's funny. It's like they're trying not to use the phrase Mandoverse, like it's copyrighted or something. You know, Spider-Verse or something, multiverse.
Well, it's like
whatever.
why they didn't want to call Baby Yoda for the longest time.
So it's Mando Plus, a conversation with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, and their first appearance at Star Wars Celebration since the premiere of The Mandalorian.
Wait.
They haven't had
both seasons of Mando have come out since the last celebration. Holy cow.
Join Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni with special guests for a look back and a look ahead at what's to come. And that'll be on Saturday, May 28th. What are your thoughts on that?
That's going to be a fun panel.
You definitely get some more in that one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe some Ming-Na Wen as well.
That's
Fennec.
Yeah, that's a good point. This show took the world by storm, and I don't think anybody was expecting that.
No.
So hearing their thoughts on how the show behaved will probably be really interesting. Fans are going to be really, like, the fan reaction at that panel is going to be pretty neat too. But if they don't... my question is, if they give the trailer in the first panel that we talked about, Lucasfilm,
what would they give here?
Right, what would they give here? Is this strictly a discussion panel, or do they give us something else?
Well, maybe they don't give you the Mandalorian trailer at the original panel.
Okay. They kind of did something different with the original Mandalorian panel, if you remember it. They showed the first scene of season 1 and a featurette.
Oh, that's right.
That's true. They didn't show a trailer. And I remember that was hilarious because they accidentally didn't cut the stream on the behind the scenes featurette, which was supposed to, and they made jokes about it the whole time. Yeah. I remember that the Mandalorian panel was a lot of fun.
It
Jon
really
Favreau
was.
and Dave Filoni, and I cannot wait to see how they react to it now that people are so obsessed with Grogu and everything. See how they're going to react to that. And just,
can you imagine how many Grogu items are going to be on that show floor for sale?
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be insane. There's going to be somebody that tries to buy like one item of Grogu from each booth that sells it.
They're going to go bankrupt doing it.
It's like a scavenger hunt.
All right, third panel that they announced, the Bad Batch, and it starts with "Strap in, kid. You're not going to want to miss this view." Join host David Collins. That very much excites me because he's excites me.
He's a better host than the Pentagon.
That's not hard. Okay. Join host David Collins as he invites Star Wars, the Bad Batch executive producer and supervising director Brad Rao, executive producer and head writer Jen Corbett, story editor Matt Mitchnevitz. I was looking ahead trying to figure out that last name. I apologize. Actors D. Bradley Baker and Michelle Ang. The entire cast. Between those two to discuss highlights from the first season of the acclaimed series, as well as some exciting hints of what's to come in season 2. This panel will take place on Sunday, May 29th. We'll start with you, BB Nate. What do you think?
I am just kind of like, okay, this is going to be a fun panel. I'm not like uber looking forward to this. I thought the Bad Batch was fine. I feel like it kind of felt like the first season fell a little flat towards the end there, but I did enjoy the Bad Batch a lot. But I am excited to see what happens in this. Maybe we'll get some more hints at Hera. I wouldn't mind that, but I'm sure that there will be a lot of fun with this. And I'm sure that overall it'll just be a really fun panel with D. Bradley Baker and Omega and all that stuff.
Omega.
Yeah,
you gotta say it like that. One of my professors says Omega, like Omega.
I feel like we got to order our shirts. The shirt
bitch.
the bed bitch shirts.
Bed bitch.
We got to order those
Omega.
for that panel.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun series, and the Clone Wars fans are going to be at this one, and Clone Wars fans are a different breed, not in a bad way.
Animation fans are different.
Yeah, they are so hardcore in a good way. They love the animation. So the fans of this are going to be great. And we know we really have no idea what could take place in a season 2. So hearing about what they might do with this story now is really exciting.
Traditionally, at the animation panels, Dave Filoni likes to have the first episode.
That's true.
Of the new season. Do we get the first episode of this?
I'm sure
of this
it's already
series,
done.
I think
so. I wouldn't be surprised. We didn't get a first episode of Clone Wars, though, did we? No. No, we didn't we?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. We got a trailer there.
I remember we got a clip of Bad Batch.
Yes.
No,
We
that
got
was a
of
clip
the Bad Batch
of
episode.
The Bad Batch episode. Yep,
Yeah,
you're
because
right.
it wasn't done animated yet either.
That's
It's
true.
Still in production.
Yeah, there was a lot to do. All right, let's talk a little bit about, what we know is coming is done. Let's talk about what we hope will happen. What are you hoping that we haven't talked about so far that we get?
I just want something Ahsoka. I really do.
No, you want something Ezra specifically.
No, I want something just Ahsoka that deals with rebels. If we see Sabine or if we see Hera, I wouldn't mind a Thrawn and Ezra thrown in there. Either.
Have you heard the rumor?
Announcement.
Have you heard the rumor?
What?
That's been going on the last 3-4 days?
No.
That Lars Mikkelsen is going to be there and they're going to announce him as Thrawn.
Oh, great. And
they
then
better
please have Mita Masao there, just as Ezra, and then show him in the trailer or something. Just give me something that deals with Ezra.
Just a little something.
It's been so long. It's been since the end of 2014.
It was 14. April of 14 was when the series ended.
Really?
I mean 17.
Yeah, I was like, that could be right.
That was,
no, 18.
It was the end of
It was 18. Sorry.
It's been
Jeez,
so long.
I'm tired. So it was 18. It's felt like it's been since 14.
It's been 4 years since this series has ended. And so much has happened in 4 years. I'm just needing something Rebels. I swear.
Okay. I think we know what BB Nate's hoping will happen. Samuel the Hutt.
I want more game announcements.
Fallen Order.
Fallen
maybe
Order.
The Ubisoft Star Wars game reveal.
Yeah, something like that. But also, I hope Hayden is there.
Yes.
And I hope that he gets the same fan reception that
as Ahmed Bested.
Which, based on the internet reactions to him being casted as Vader and Anakin again in Obi-Wan and Ahsoka respectively, I think that if he does make an appearance, that'll be the case.
So you know how they had a panel, I think they had a panel with Hayden and Ian McDermott at 2017
yep. Orlando, yeah.
Didn't have any reveals, but it was a super fun panel. Please have a Hayden and Ewan panel.
Yes.
Just them talking about their experience on Kenobi, about their experience.
I'm going to be honest with you. If they
trilogy.
have that becomes the top of my list.
Right. That's like,
honestly,
that's an insanely fun panel where they just get to geek out and have fun reminiscing about their experiences and looking forward to the future of what's to come. That would be such an amazing panel.
Those
have
two
Warwick moderate it.
Yes. Oh my
Those
gosh.
two became pretty close
They did.
among filming. I think if I remember whatever.
Extremely close.
They really grew close. So hearing that kind of reunion would be pretty neat.
You Dad? Did I take your biggest hope?
No. There's one big hope. I do think that Friday is the day that they haven't announced the big panel for.
No.
With that yet. So I think BB Nate that you could be getting your Ahsoka stuff there, or you could be getting some Kenobi stuff. I don't think that the reason I hold back on the Kenobi
panel.
They do, but it's not one of the major. It's not the big panels. If you're doing Kenobi, then it's tied into the Lucasfilm panel on Thursday because they're bringing in Ewan for that and all that. So I think that's it. I think we could do an Ahsoka panel on Friday. Dave, Rosario, Ashley Eckstein brought in. Maybe she's moderating it.
That would be so cool.
That would be fun. And by the way, Lucasfilm, you can take that idea and run with it and not even give me credit for it. It's fine. Just, send the check. No. But to see Hayden on stage too, because then you can be, because he's going to be in it. Hayden, Rosario, they're close friends. They went to acting school together and stuff. So all of that would be fun. My heart's hope, which I'm not confident it's going to happen.
Solo 2.
No.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
My heart's hope is that at the Lucasfilm live action panel, that somewhere during that, Mr. Ryan Johnson comes out on stage and they announce
the trilogy.
His trilogy is in production or getting ready to go into production or something. And he talks, and I think that it's a gutsy move if they do it.
Really gutsy.
But I would hope that that's not going to happen. But I hope that will happen.
I just hope he's there. That's all I hope for.
Well,
so I can thank him that Turbis happened.
Yeah, for sure. I guess it's we've teased it and kind of it's the Sam cat.
Let's just be
let
honest,
the cat out of the bag.
Sammy, I was cool. You let this slip up too, Dad. I was.
So did you a second ago.
Today, we were given the privilege and the honor of we were not coming to Celebration. We had given up our tickets when it was delayed before because we didn't know what life was going to be like and where we were even going to be living, and all of those things were going on. And through the pandemic, we just weren't sure if we were going to be able to go. And so we didn't get tickets when they went for sale. And today we were actually presented media passes to be a part of a Star Wars Celebration. So we booked hotel and flights. Literally, they were late recording this episode today because we were debating how to make this happen and whether or not we could pull it off. And we pulled the trigger on it and wanted to do that before we recorded. So we're so excited to get to go. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I haven't let myself really get excited about this celebration because I thought I wasn't going to be able to go. I didn't know what was happening at it. I tried to really avoid any information on it.
It's one of the reasons we haven't talked about it on the show because I just didn't want to.
Right.
It was depressing to me.
It is really sad because we have such fond memories there. And now my only wish is that I had time to get a Mando costume before.
What about you, BB Nate?
I'm just excited to go back. I think that since 2019, I have matured so much more in this podcast and everything. So it's going to be a lot more fun going back now with having that. And I'm just super excited to just experience it now.
I'm excited to see you guys. I know if you're listening to this right now,
that's such I don't think they understand how surreal that is for us though, to meet somebody who says that they're a fan of ours
or even just a listener fan feels like it's silly for us to say.
But. I mean, you get my point because we don't think we're anything.
No.
That is really all that worth listening to. You know, we are still the people who, if we saw a podcast that we looked up to, you know, in 2017, we'd freak out. So it's such a surreal experience, but we love meeting listeners.
Did you hear that Dan Z is going to be a moderator?
I did.
Celebration.
Really?
It's awesome.
That's so cool.
You know, my hope is that a dream of mine has been to sit down and have a cup of coffee with Dan Z.
Coffee with Kenobi.
I'm going to reach out to Dan and see if we can make that happen.
Oh, wait, no, he's already had an interview with you, hasn't he? Dan Z.
Oh, I don't know. I
think he has.
I don't know. So,
but wouldn't it be cool if he had a coffee with Kenobi?
It's just surreal.
Yes.
Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, honestly, it's going to be very different than the last several before it because of the fact that we don't have like a movie trailer and coming out, coming out this fall or this Christmas time and everything else. But no matter what, it's like it's going to be a once in a lifetime experience that we've been honored to have twice before, and we can't wait to do it again. And it's hard to move on from that, but we will. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Anything else?
Yeah, the MCU actually wanted a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man cameo 13 years before No Way Home.
Golly.
In the original Incredible Hulk movie.
The Edward Norton version. Okay.
That was a weird period of the MCU.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was.
I wasn't sure what it was yet.
Yes, the greatest superhero movie is now available to stream on HBO Max. The Batman is officially available to stream and buy on digital if you want to. Its physical release is releasing at the in the middle of May, I think. But you can go watch that now if you got 3 hours to spare. But if I had 3 hours to spare, I'd go watch it.
You'd watch it right now.
Of course.
He doesn't. James Gunn shares why he's not interested in directing Star Wars right now.
He's too busy on Peacemaker and other series.
No, he's too busy on Guardians. He's like, I'm doing I'm trying to finish a Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy right now. I'm busy, is what he said.
Yeah, he has
That's fair.
He has Holiday Special, and then he has Guardians 3 to deal with right now. And then he has the other DC shows he's working on. Yeah, he has a lot to do.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's it for this episode. You know, Friday's episode is one you're definitely going to want to check out. Adam Glenn and Dax Holt from Hollywood Raw podcast are going to talk about some crazy things. Tobey Maguire is going to be a conversation. Like
no way.
One of them walking up to him on the street having a conversation with him, just some fun. These guys are a trip. You're gonna love them. Check that out on Friday. Thank you again to the Heroes Journal for sponsoring this episode. We definitely appreciate it, and for all of you listening to this show, thank you so much for listening to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. Yeah.
Yes, if you had a good time listening, it would be awesome if you could share this with your friends.
Yeah, and if you liked it that much, remember this show. I mean,
and if you didn't. That's okay too.
Sorry. We'll try it better next time. But if you liked it that much, remember the show. It's only a small part of the Tatooine Sons world. So you can like us on Facebook and join our Facebook discussion group. And you can also follow us on Twitter to get in on all the action. You can keep up to date with everything we've got going on over there at TatooineSons.com.
That's right. And don't forget to follow the show on your favorite podcast app, your application.
Like that. Yeah. I don't think anybody uses that word anymore.
Literally the way that
I know that's what it is, but
and the great book, by the way, if you want to check it out, is Love is the Killer App by Tim Sanders. Anyway,
appetizer?
Application. Don't forget to follow the show on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss our next episode, and give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever other podcast application you prefer. Anything else you guys want to say?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you always.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.
Joy, please.